I accidentally slept with the Canton Mafia heir. Just as I planned to run and hide. He barged in, holding one of my heels. Who just came out of my room? God, is he making me take responsibility? Our company's annual dinner was held at a high-end business KTV. I had just hit my KPIs and was being toasted by the managers until I was more than a little tipsy. Trying to escape the banquet under the excuse of going to the restroom, I accidentally stumbled into the private room of a Cantonese tycoon. I was crammed into the corner of the sofa, tugging messily at his already loosened tie, my shirt already halfway off. Why wouldn't this tie come off? He raised his brows, his eyes glittering like stars on a summer night. You want it? I nodded. His Adam's apple bobbed, and his breathing grew heavier. The sofa was too small, so he pulled me up and led me toward the bedroom. With every step, I could feel the heat radiating from him, scalding and intense, making my heart race wildly. My consciousness sank. When I opened my eyes again, reason crashed back in all at once. I was stark naked, curled in the arms of a stranger. I'd really messed up. Big time. I wasn't taking responsibility for this. Carefully slipping out of his arms, I found his wallet and pulled out the victim's ID. Chris Cowie. No doubt about it. The #1 heir of the Canton elite. My boss had mentioned him several times. No wonder he looked so familiar. I must have woken him with my movements. Panicked, I quickly got dressed and grabbed my shoes to flee. Wait, he rasped. Throwing off the blanket, he clearly forgot he wasn't wearing a thing. I looked up and crashed straight into that muscular body. My entire face flushed crimson. No wonder I ached all over. Panicked, I dropped one of my shoes. I saw him rubbing his temples, as if trying to get a clearer look at me. No time to find the other shoe, I bolted from the room. Chris arrived at the door of our KTV room, flanked by 2 intimidating bodyguards, holding my black stiletto in hand like a weapon. His eyes were dark as midnight as he looked down at me. Who just entered my room? You've got to be kidding me. He actually tracked me down with my shoe? His brows were tightly furrowed, like a volcano about to erupt. Oh God, was he here to make me take responsibility, or demand compensation? By that time, everyone had already left the room, except for me and my bestie, Ivana. Suddenly, a brilliant idea hit me. I pointed straight at Ivana and said firmly, it was her. Ivana froze. I could practically see the question marks popping above her head. Not that it mattered. I clamped a hand over her mouth. Don't speak. Just go with it. I'll treat you to dinner. Pick any place in S-City. Ivana shook her head. You? Treat someone? This must be serious. Chris eyed us suspiciously, but then his gaze dropped to my bare ankle. Just swapped shoes with Ivana. She twisted her foot. We wear the same size. Heh. Chris turned to Ivana. Name your price. I scrambled to salvage the situation. No need. Nobody's at a loss here. Just, please don't make my bestie take the fall. He suddenly smiled, his eyes full of amusement as he looked me over. Who said I was asking her? Maybe I was asking you. I'm just decent at talking. Nothing special, I replied breezily. President Cowie, if there's nothing else, we'll be leaving now. Trying to appear calm, I snatched my shoe from his hand and dragged Ivana away. The hallway of the KTV was narrow. He didn't seem too inclined to step aside, so I practically had to brush past him. That subtle woodsy scent on him felt like a flame, burning my cheeks scarlet. I caught a glimpse of his strangely aggrieved expression but didn't dare look again. As we left, I vaguely heard someone talking to him. Chris, heard you got played? Looking for your girl here? No way, someone ran off faster than you did. Chris snorted. Let's see who played who. Back at the office, Ivana's eyes were glowing with the fire of gossip. What were you even doing in his room? You didn't steal anything, did you? Is he here to buy it back? Steal what? If I'm taking the fall, I at least deserve to know why. I didn't steal anything heavy. Just when the whole thing felt too wild to explain, I saw Chris, wearing sunglasses and leading a group of men, striding right through our company's front doors. He passed by me in full view of everyone, walking like the wind itself. And faintly, I caught that same woodsy scent of his. That night? I vaguely remembered clinging to him, desperate and craving. Was I hallucinating? I rubbed my eyes, then rubbed my temples. Nope. It was definitely him. My coworkers immediately began whispering. Wow, President Cowie came to our office. Didn't the boss always try to get him to invest? But he never agreed. Well, he's here now. Looks promising. If he invests, do we all get a raise? Please let it happen. Our boss practically ran to greet him. His tiny eyes squinted into slits, like he'd just seen the god of wealth. I was doomed. This wasn't a plotline I could handle. Just as I was about to sneak away, the boss called out. Susan, come in. But Creative just called, they need me to. Oh, come on. This is more urgent. Get in here. Defeated, I dragged my feet into the office. Good grief, every single member of upper management was present and seated like they were on a royal council. I'd never seen them this harmonious. Susan, let me introduce you. This is President Cowie, young and outstanding, a giant in the investment world. I'm sure you young folks have heard of him. He was all smiles. Me? I hadn't just heard of him. I'd slept with him. Chris sat alone on the leather couch usually reserved for the CEO, one leg crossed over the other, watching me with an amused gaze. I was panicking. I nearly fainted. Did he know I'd lied to him? Was that why he came, to confront me at work? I felt a single bead of sweat slide down my temple. So many people in this room. Why was it so hot? President Cowie, Susan's here. The boss bent at the waist, singing my praises, how capable I was, how reliable and professional. She's the one who secured most of our major deals this year. Chris seemed pleased. Great. Let her compile a summary of your current projects and send it to me. Me, just like that, the matter was decided. Chris passed me his WeChat and said, add me. I'll put you in the coordination group. I wondered. Was he really here to talk business? Maybe I was just overthinking things? While scanning the QR code, I caught a glimpse of his lips curving into the faintest smile as our eyes met. What, exactly was he trying to do? Before leaving, Chris invited Ivana to dinner. She was flattered and quickly agreed, sure. I'd love to, President Cowie. Back at my desk, I let out a long sigh of relief and opened a browser window. I typed, what happens when Chris finds out he's been tricked? An answer popped up almost instantly, Chris hates being lied to. One time, a friend borrowed money from him and assumed Chris wouldn't care. He kept making excuses not to repay. Chris turned around and had him thrown in jail. What? Thrown in jail? That's brutal. Just then, I heard Chris's husky voice behind me, low, rich, and dampened like it had just been rinsed with warm water. He leaned down, hands on the back of my chair, and said, since you two seem close, I didn't want Ivana to feel awkward. Why don't you come too? I slammed the browser shut, every hair on my body standing on end, then turned around with my brightest smile. Heh, did he just see that? 44 floors up, outside the floor-to-ceiling windows, the clouds rolled across a sky brushed with golden sun. The restaurant was elegant. Several of Chris's friends were already seated. I heard some girl slept with Chris and bolted, didn't even have time to grab her shoe. Who was it? One of you. My mind blanked at the sudden question. Another guy leaned in, clearly intrigued by the gossip. Damn, girls these days really know how to play. Didn't think Chris was into that type. Chris let out a dry chuckle from between his teeth, dismissing the teasing with a single sound. But Ivana suddenly stood up, eyes wide like a ghost rising from the grave, and turned slowly to stare at me. I quickly pulled her down. She just needs the restroom. I'll go with her. You guys eat first. Before anyone could say more, I dragged her away. In the restroom, Ivana burst out, Susan, you slept with Chris? I clamped my hand over the little devil's mouth. Shh. Keep your voice down. I thought you took something from him or something. I think he might be into you, she added. I waved frantically. No way. He's not into me. Ivana knew me well. If it's not mine, I don't want it. Zero desire. I won't cling. I'm afraid of getting hurt. Yeah. Guys like that probably wouldn't be sincere anyway. We understood. Chris and I were like two intersecting lines, briefly crossing paths before parting forever. When we returned to the table, Chris had just come back from the restroom too. Ivana and I were both nervous. Hopefully, he didn't hear that? Just then, two more girls joined the group. They were dressed beautifully, the influencer type, light makeup, sparkly mini Chanel dresses trimmed with pearls and rhinestones. Every move seemed calculated to show off their figure and elegance. Especially when eating dessert, one of them gently scooped a bite, placed it in her mouth, and savored it slowly, as if the cream and milkiness were traveling from her tongue to her nose. I glanced down at myself and Ivana. Two office drones. Drab and plain. We'd come straight from work in jackets and trousers. Ahem. If Chris had a type, it'd clearly be them, not us. One of the girls, speaking in a sugary baby voice, showed something to the other girl with a bubbly lilt. Look. My new necklace. Dior's Lucky Charms, custom edition. What do you think? The other gasped. So pretty. Ugh, I want one too. What do you guys think? They seemed to be trying to include us, but it was obvious we weren't on the same wavelength. If we had to respond, Ivana and I would probably say, Ivana, this Saturday let's go to that noodle shop at the corner and get those dumplings with the juicy filling. Then wipe our mouths with some Tempo tissues, and march right back to work to build a brighter future. What do you think? Love it. You really get me. Nothing better than doing 996 with my bestie. Then, just for fun, I tried to mimic their voices in that delicate, nasal tone, I really love the faux crystal accents. They're so shiny. It's the kind of sparkle that travels from my iris through my cornea and reflects right into the depths of my soul. Really fabulous, mmm. Ivana nearly spat out her drink, knowing full well I was mocking them. One of the girls, the bubbly-voiced one, quickly defended herself with a sweet smile. Hee, I'm not faking it, really. I swear I'm not. My voice is just naturally low and has a bit of that airy bubble feel. Ivana and I gave her an understanding nod. Sure. Chris seemed amused too. Though silent, he casually rested his chin on his hand to hide the smile tugging at the corners of his lips. Finally, he spoke. Chris leaned back in his chair, refined and elegant in a perfectly tailored suit. His voice cut through the room with effortless magnetism. So, what's your star sign? His eyes landed on Ivana. He took a light sip of coffee. The question caught her off guard. She blinked, confused. Taurus. The two girls immediately lit up, fawning over Ivana. Oh, Taurus is great. Matches really well with me. I heard Taurus people have strong personalities. Tauruses are super down-to-earth and loyal friends. Everyone joined in the lively discussion. Then Chris casually asked, so between you and Susan, who's older? Ivana responded right away. Susan? Oh, that's me. I'm 2 months older. I take care of her, food, clothes, housing, everything. It's exhausting. Chris let out a quiet oh, but for some reason it sounded like a sudden realization. I mean, I'm a grown adult. Do I really need that much taking care of? His eyes glinted, the corners of his mouth twitching ever so slightly upward before he suppressed the smile and continued chatting nonchalantly with his friends. I found it weird. Something felt off. He kept glancing at me, his throat moved slightly, as if he wanted to speak but kept holding back. At last, he seemed to remember something. Susan, make sure you prepare that report. You'll be presenting it at my office tomorrow. I already sent you the address. Maybe I really was overthinking it. When your boss looks at you like a tiger eyeing prey, it's not about pity, it's about exploitation. I stayed up all night finishing the slides. The next day, I brought the full report to Chris's company. But he wasn't there. His assistant told me to wait, he'd go contact President Cowie. About half an hour later, Chris finally showed up, gym bag slung over his shoulder. He brought me into his office, which was far more spacious and luxurious than my own boss's. Matte black leather sofas with extra-wide seats, upscale design, it was soft, elegant, and rich with class. He poured me a cup of coffee and said he'd just come from the gym. As soon as he heard I had arrived, he rushed over. Want to change clothes first? I asked. Nah, I'm good. Gives you some time to prep. Can the projector connect? He paused a beat. Actually, it's broken. I've been meaning to replace it. No worries. Laptop view works just fine. I opened my laptop and got the presentation ready. Then I vaguely heard the sound of running water from inside the room. The huge office now only had me and Chris. Suddenly, my mind flashed back to that beautiful night a few days ago. His madness, his indulgence, how tireless he was. When he came out, he had changed into a plain white t-shirt. The fresh scent of body wash on him was unexpectedly pleasant. He sat beside me casually, but I, overwhelmed by the inappropriate images in my mind, began to panic. In a fluster, I accidentally knocked over my coffee. Sorry. Startled, I scrambled for tissues, only to realize I had no idea where they were. The coffee was spreading across the desk, nearly soaking the files. I hurried to push the papers away with my hands. He quickly grabbed my wrist. It's okay. No need. I'll have the cleaning lady come up. Then he pulled a tissue from a drawer nearby and gently wiped my hand. I quickly pulled my hand back, my heart pounding in my chest. I'm really sorry. His voice was soft. It looks like you burned yourself a little. He stood and walked over to a filing cabinet in the corner of the office, looking for something. This ointment works well. Here, put some on. Thanks. I can do it myself. All right. I applied the cool ointment. The coldness helped soothe the sting on my skin. After the little mishap, I finally calmed down and resumed the presentation on our project. This year's first half had been fruitful for the company. With our excellent urban management plan, we had secured the outsourcing deal for the smart parking system in Yefeng District, S-City. The total contract was worth $8 million. The project duration was 5 months. Including software development, facility construction, and the follow-up. I couldn't resist stealing a glance at him. Only to crash right into his intense, penetrating gaze. And the follow-up maintenance. My face turned beet red. God, look at the slides, not me. I hurriedly scrolled the mouse and pointed to a few key figures, investment costs, ROI ratios, finally managing to redirect his attention. He then moved his chair a little closer, naturally, as if to get a better view. Now he was right behind me. If I turned even a little, I'd see half of his shoulder. It felt like he was holding me in his arms. In May, which was last month, our company also. You feeling hot? He suddenly interrupted. Without waiting for my reply, he got up and lowered the AC by 2 degrees. Hot. I was boiling. Not even reporting to a national CEO ever made me this nervous. We were sitting so close I could feel the strength in his frame. And my mind. It just kept going back to that night. The way we had entangled with each other, his voice in my ear, over and over again, "You're so soft, so sweet. Who are you? Does that feel good? Like this? Or this? If it feels good, tell me. Tell me. Are you tired? Want to take a break?" Ah. A sharp, shaky breath slipped from my lips. My voice trembled, flushed with heat. My chest rose and fell. Tired, my brain was tired. He called his secretary and asked them to bring in some dessert. Then he turned and went into the adjoining bedroom. Suddenly, the room felt quite cool. Why had it felt so hot earlier? I popped a strawberry into my mouth. And again heard the splashing of water. When he returned, he said, "Let's go to the conference room. There's a working projector there." I quickly set down my mini cake and followed him, laptop in hand. In the conference room, I stood at the front. He sat at the head of the round table. At that moment, my senses fully returned. Slide after slide, my report flowed with clarity and professionalism. At this point, my part of the presentation was nearly done. "President Cowie, do you have any technical questions? Our business team will follow up with you afterward." He rested both hands on the table, fingers interlocked. "I'll invest 30 million. What do you think?" "Wait, me." I forced my mind to reboot, flashing a smile I hoped looked graceful. "The company's fundamentals are solid. Our proprietary tech is grounded and defensible. The team's driven too, even though we're basically working overtime every day. This is our Series A round. At this pace, we should be ready for Series B in under 2 years. Exit by then? A guaranteed win. I know. In S-City, investment is just a game of musical chairs." "You know the market well," I commented. Chris leaned back slightly, arms crossed, quietly observing me from across the room. But instead of admiration, his gaze reminded me more of a hawk. Poised, patient, eyes locked on its prey. Later that day, Ivana clutched my arm. "Susan, when are you going to tell that Chris?" "You scared?" I asked. "Because I'm terrified." I shot her a look. "Weren't you the brave one? The second Chris said dinner, you jumped at the invite. And now you're acting all cautious? I didn't know you two had history." She showed me her phone. Chris had messaged her again, "Golf, 8 a.m. day after tomorrow. I'll pick you up. Don't worry about anything. You have to come too. I type on a keyboard all day, how would I know how to play golf?" Don't be fooled by her delicate name. Ivana was a programmer through and through. Direct. Unfiltered. She insisted I go with her. And honestly, I was the one who started all this. Chris hadn't invited me, and given our so-called professional relationship, I had no reason to be there. But Ivana threatened, "If I have to go alone, I'm telling him everything." "Fine. I'll go." I was acting on impulse, but I still needed a decent excuse. "Let's say, we ran into each other?" Ivana rolled her eyes. "Sure. 2 corporate zombies just happened to run into each other at a golf course? Try harder." "Fine. I'm going." Chris wore a short-sleeved polo and loose black shorts that day. No posing, no pretense, just bright, sunny, and relaxed. Even more casual than the last time. From afar, he spotted me. The curve of his smile was unreadable. Before I could come up with a half-decent explanation for showing up, those 2 girls from before arrived. "Hello, we meet again." The baby voice and bubble voice looked surprised to see me here. "You look like you're here for work, so cute. Is this your first time on a course?" Only then did I realize. They were clearly dressed as a matching pair, coordinated sun hats, tight little tops, and mini skirts. Sporty and spicy. I was sure it was on purpose, but their tone was sweet, soft, even when passive-aggressive, it was hard to bite back. So I said, "Oh, I am here for work. Came to help my bestie find a rich boyfriend. She pays me." I turned to Ivana. Ivana nodded vigorously. Yep. I pay her. 128,000 a day. You're making stuff up again. If I even got $12.80, I'd be thankful." The 2 girls laughed. "Then, who's the rich guy?" Chris happened to walk over, catching our banter. "Having fun, huh? Do you play?" I shook my head. "No. Come here. I'll teach you." "That's really not necessary." But under the stunned gazes of the other girls, Chris took my hand and led me to the course. I thought I heard the bubble voice and baby voice whispering behind me, "That's weird. Didn't President Cowie like Ivana?" The vast green of the golf course stretched like a lush carpet, reaching the edge of our vision. Sunlight poured gently over Chris and me. Here. He tossed me a club. A proper stance doesn't just look good, it helps with balance. He briefly explained the rules, directions, and then personally demonstrated how to hold the club and position myself. Chris looked effortlessly cool. With that relaxed white t-shirt and casual shorts, he didn't seem like a boss, just a friend. I followed his lead, legs slightly apart, club gently resting behind the ball. I was wearing a soft cotton midi skirt and a light blue plaid blouse. I could feel his gaze trailing from my neck down every inch of me. Just like that night, not even a single corner had escaped his touch. I swung the club a few times, but I clearly hadn't grasped the technique. Chris paused for a moment, then stepped behind me. I'll show you how to swing. He pressed up against my back, hands gently guiding mine from behind. His broad frame wrapped around me completely. My light cotton skirt barely separated us, and something accidentally brushed where it shouldn't. My ears turned so red they felt like they were bleeding. My brain completely short-circuited. Then he leaned his head shamelessly against the side of my neck, his breath hot. He whispered something that made my heart stop. I know it was you. Don't even think of running. I panicked. He recognized me? I tried to play dumb, still hoping to escape. President Cowie? What are you talking about? That smug, knowing smile on his lips hit me like lightning. That night, you called me President Cowie, just like you are now. So, how did you know who I was? I dropped the club and bolted. He caught me. Are you part mouse? Always running? What are you so afraid of? We're a perfect match. How would you know we're a perfect match? I'm a Scorpio. Suddenly, it all made sense. At that dinner, when he asked who was older between me and my bestie. Ivana's a Taurus, and I'm 2 months younger, that would make me a Cancer. Cancer, the so-called destined match for Scorpio men. I didn't even know why I was running. Maybe because, it just felt too complicated. I didn't know him well. We weren't equals, either. Was I overthinking this? Probably. Maybe I should just, go with it? I lifted my face and met his eyes. So, what do you want? He smiled. You're seriously asking me what I want? He pulled me back into his arms, this time, leaving no space between us. Then he gripped my hands and, with one swift swing. A perfect hole-in-one. I want you. His pursuit was intense. The raw scent of his hormones crashed over me like a tidal wave. Unrelenting. His blunt, heated words made my skin burn. From afar, his friends cheered. But those 2 girls had stopped smiling. I tried to step away again. He moved in front of me, shielding me from the others' gaze. He gently lifted my chin. They say Cancer girls are guarded. But we Scorpios, we love a challenge. As he lowered his hand, the pad of his thumb lightly grazed my lips. Rough, electrifying. The contact sparked something in my body I couldn't explain. From that moment on, Ivana was officially off duty. She patted my shoulder with sympathy. Our first official date? He said he'd take me to some farm in the middle of nowhere to experience the meaning of life. I had no idea what that meant. Later, I asked Ivana. Turned out it was just a countryside restaurant, amazing food, but way off the beaten path. Ivana's from Guangdong. I'm not. So this whole rustic setup? I was honestly kind of nervous. We drove along winding mountain roads for what felt like hours. The stars were already out by the time we arrived. What's wrong? Afraid I'm selling you off? Isn't that the vibe? I honestly thought you were taking me to Southeast Asia. He laughed. You really think I'm that kind of guy? I mean, you once sent someone to jail just for not paying back a loan. And I lied to you. Heh. He grinned. You're not wrong. Now I'm just thinking, where could I get the best price for you? You. Chris, you're insane. I turned and ran back toward the car. Chris chased after me, flabbergasted. Hey. I was kidding. I ran until I was breathless. He finally caught me and gently smoothed my hair. The food here, you'll never forget it after just one bite. Just like, I'll never forget you. I looked around. By a murmuring stream, rows of bamboo-style walkways led to private rooms. Surrounded by mountains and birdsong, the place was bustling with people. A line of high-end Guangdong-registered luxury cars stood outside the entrance. Seriously impressive. He told me he wasn't mad at all. If you hadn't lied to me, I probably wouldn't have remembered you. What actually pissed me off was, you had the guts to tease me, and then run. I was speechless. Apparently, he was good friends with the owners. He borrowed a fishing rod and headed down to the river. I teased, are you even any good? What kind of man says he's not good? You'd better cheer me on. Otherwise, we might not get dinner tonight. Wait, what? You have to catch your own food here? Chris gave me a crooked smile. What did you think? Want to get in the river and grab it yourself? President Cowie, go go go. You got this. You don't know this, but back in high school, I was a cheerleading captain. I still remember all the chants. Ready? Chris. My cheeks turned bright red. He set up the rod and leaned back lazily, watching me cheer with amusement dancing in his eyes. Just as my stomach started growling from hunger, he finally reeled one in. Chris, I'm so happy. Like, so happy. Because now I can finally eat. He cut me off. Fish alone won't cut it. Then he took me to pick out a chicken. He said, I caught the fish, you catch the chicken. I was stunned. I'm scared of ants and you want me to catch a chicken? The uncle nearby laughed. You teasing your girl again? You pick, I'll catch. Relieved, I let out a sigh. When the food was served, the owner kept bragging about the fish. Said they'd been raising it for ages, just waiting for Chris to show up. I whispered, wait, isn't that the one we just caught? The owner froze. Chris nearly spat out his drink. He scrambled for a napkin, coughing and laughing at the same time. It suddenly all clicked. He'd staged the whole thing. All of it, a scam. Everyone says Scorpios are manipulative and dramatic. I'd just experienced it firsthand. Total fraud. I realized, he really liked messing with people. No. I was officially mad now. Like, truly mad, the kind that's hard to fix. Chris finally realized I was serious. He looked flustered for once. You're so petty, he muttered. Damn right I am. I had come all this way for him, crossing mountains and rivers, fishing and chasing chickens on an empty stomach. And he had the nerve to play tricks on me? Chris finally started coaxing me. I was wrong, Susu. I really was wrong. Forgive me, okay? He kept calling me Susu in my ear. In the end, I made him spin and place like an elephant 10 times, then pull a silly face and shout at a stranger, I'm a pig. Only then did I let him off the hook. Watching the video I recorded, I laughed so hard I nearly squealed like a pig. Chris looked helpless, caught between frustration and fear. Do you know how much that video is worth? 30 years of my charm and handsomeness, all ruined in your hands. The more he thought about it, the angrier he got. I, on the other hand, happily picked up a piece of fish and beamed at him. It's delicious. Seriously, you have to try it. He suddenly cupped my face and kissed me. I want that bite. His lips pried mine open with practiced ease, boldly stealing the piece of fish I hadn't even finished chewing. As if that wasn't enough, he lingered, slowly tasting my lips like savoring fine wine. Time seemed to freeze around us. His kiss deepened, trailing down to my chin, neck, and collarbone. It was careful and slow, filled with a mix of tenderness and intent. My whole body melted into his arms, too weak to resist. It felt like I was back in that night again. With his lips brushing my ear, he murmured, soft and teasing, Susu, give yourself to me, will you? I nearly drowned in that overwhelming sweetness, but reason screamed inside me. Susan, you cannot. I mustered every last ounce of strength, pushed him away, opened the door, and ran out of the private room. Only to bump straight into Katie, our company's head of administration. Susan. Clearly, seeing me here was out of place. But soon, she saw Chris chasing after me. Katie. It's not what you think. I blurted. Katie raised her eyebrows in clear disbelief. Although the admin department wasn't involved in investment or partnerships, she knew I was the one handling Chris Cowie's project. Chris gave her a nod, then pulled me into the car to take me home. On the ride back, he kept glancing at me. Sorry, about earlier. It's fine. I guess after seeing a girl like me act that ridiculously, you're probably not interested anymore, huh? Maybe that was for the best. We'd returned to our separate worlds. Chris did end up investing in our company, and I was promoted for my contribution. But during the promotion, Katie, the admin director, gave me dirty looks. She even started spreading rumors around the office. She said she personally saw me and Chris doing the deed in some remote mountain lodge. The story got more outrageous by the day. People started looking at me differently. Some avoided me. Some looked at me with pity. Some, resentment and jealousy. Just when I didn't know how to deal with it anymore, a delivery arrived, a bouquet of 999 blue roses and a jewelry gift box. Inside was Dior's latest necklace, engraved with 2 letters, CS. My phone rang. It was Chris. I heard girls like flowers, he said. This is the first time I've ever sent flowers to anyone. Consider it an apology. I do like them. But why now? And why'd you send them to the company? Great. That confirmed everyone's suspicions. Now it was even harder to explain. I lowered my voice, annoyed. He paused for a moment. Something happened? Want me to come over? No. You showing up would just make things worse. I half-heartedly coasted through the rest of the workday. Then, a new email appeared in my inbox. Notice of resignation, Director Katie. We thank Katie for her contributions and wish her success in her next chapter. I opened the email, feeling skeptical. It said she was leaving for personal reasons and had already completed her handover. Later, Ivana spilled the real gossip. Katie had been fired for spreading false rumors about coworkers. Then I received another message from Chris. I don't like misunderstandings. If there's an issue, just talk to me. I realized he had no intention of backing off. In fact, he only seemed to grow more determined. Crap, I think I'm falling for him. Someone please pull me back. Save me. That evening, I was out shopping with my bestie when Chris texted, "Late night snack." I quickly touched up my makeup and was about to head out. "You're hopelessly smitten," Ivana teased. "Careful, this kind of guy is a total player." I knew that. But my hands wouldn't stop moving, and my feet wouldn't stop walking. And this time? He was a total player. Chris showed up wearing flip-flops, on a scooter. He winked at me and shouted, "Hey, pretty girl, hop on." Are you serious? I'd spent an hour doing my makeup to look flawless. And now we were zooming along the coast on a squeaky electric moped for 40 whole minutes. By the time we reached the beach, I was a complete mess. This man was too extra. He took me to a roadside seafood stall. "This place is amazing, best seafood in town. The owner's been here almost 30 years, he's practically my age." He even carefully ladled soup into my bowl. Watching his slender fingers work the bowls with such ease, he didn't seem like some unapproachable boss at all. "What are you staring at?" he asked, catching my gaze. He smiled knowingly. "Do you do this for all the other pretty girls you take out?" He shot me a look and snorted. "You're different. With them, it's always 40 floors up in the CBD. Oh? So what, this place isn't good enough for me? This place has the real flavor. Come on, try it." I was, kind of mad. So he takes other women to fancy restaurants, but brings me to this dive? Chris, what the hell are you thinking? I thought you looked like a scared little quail, frozen stiff, like I'd eat you. So I invited those two girls to ease the tension. What were you thinking? I stared him down, trying to find any sign he was lying. But his face? Pure innocence. When the owner brought out the grilled fish and shrimp, I was practically drooling. It smelled so good I could have cried from hunger. I couldn't resist snapping a photo and sending it to Ivana. She replied instantly, "You little devil. Running off late at night just to torture me? Don't you know we're supposed to be dieting? Is there more? Pack some for me, now." The seafood here was incredible, fresh, varied, prepared in so many ways. Each dish brought a different burst of flavor. My dopamine levels were flooding. After dinner, we took a walk along the beach. Stars winked overhead. It was breathtakingly romantic. The sea breeze gently brushed past us, and then, he hugged me from behind. When a Cantonese man takes you on a 40-minute scooter ride just to bring you to his favorite seafood stall, it means you're important to him. He was showing me his truest, most unguarded self. "Susan," he murmured, "I think I've really fallen for you. You're all I think about, every moment. I don't even know how to function without you anymore." I turned to face him, lifting his chin with interest. "Well, man, do you surrender?" Chris squinted slightly, as if seeing me clearly for the first time. Ah, a Cancer woman really is a Scorpio's natural enemy. I knew these types well, capable of deep love, but they could never truly surrender. And we Cancer girls? Before we pounce, we always test and confirm. I stopped putting on a front. Stopped worrying about weight or makeup. He didn't like overly made-up girls anyway, and hated it when I dieted too hard. "If you get all skin and bones, I'd be embarrassed to take you out. People would think I can't even afford to feed you." He completely embraced the laid-back Cantonese prince vibe. After the first 2 dates, I never saw him in a suit again. Just clean, roomy t-shirts, holding my hand as we strolled the streets. And strangely, it suited us. My bestie said, "A Cantonese tycoon who'll drive you into the mountains for a single chicken or duck, who'll brave the wind to take you to the coast for one fish, one shrimp, who'll take you into village alleys to eat steaming claypot rice from a shack, that's love. The city's restaurants, hotels, CBDs, they're easy. What's rare is the willingness to go through trouble for someone, and the instinct to share the good stuff. That's who they really are." "Wait, are you two together now?" I nodded. I was Googling what are Cantonese tycoons really like almost every day, until one day he saw it. He pulled me into his arms, deep in thought. "I suppose, they have a main wife, plus a few concubines. Have a bunch of kids. Hire a nanny or 2 per kid. Wherever they go, 2 banquet tables minimum, main wife handles everything." "Excuse me?" I snapped. "Chris, if you dare bring in concubines, I will end you." He just chuckled darkly and pressed me close, kissing and biting my skin. "If you won't give yourself to me, then I will get a concubine." "Chris, you just exposed your true self." His warm hand slid down my back, found the clasp of my bra. His burning lips explored every inch of my skin. I want you to feel good, you smell so good, I'm addicted. His scorching hands kept going lower, deeper. I had no strength left to resist. His back was strong like a mountain, I couldn't push him away. He caught my trembling hands and whispered in my ear, Susu, I surrender. I surrender. That night, he lost control. And didn't stop until the sun came up. Later, Chris told me he wanted me to meet his parents. But then, days passed. No calls. No texts. Was he getting bored of me? Was I too easy? Then one day, Ivana was out shopping, and she spotted Chris, with another girl, shopping for luxury goods. She called me immediately. I had no idea a twist would come so suddenly. I rushed over, but didn't dare confront them. The girl was speaking Cantonese, but I caught one word clearly, Mama. She was calling his mother? He was introducing her to the family too? Ivana sighed. Just pretend you got bitten by a dog. Come on, I'm treating you to a place that costs $5,000 a head tonight. Thanks, but I think I just want to be alone for a while. I declined Ivana's kindness. Watching them laugh and chat, it felt like someone had ripped out my heart and stomped on it. Rain started falling on the way home. No umbrella. By the time I got back, I had a cold. I was miserable, eyes swollen from crying. Ivana had to come take care of me. You're so hopeless, she muttered. Men like that are walking traps. And you jumped in willingly. She was right. I had jumped in on my own. I had no one to blame but myself. This video is an original work of the YouTube channel Romance Grove, and is published exclusively on this channel. Please don't re-upload or share it on other channels. When I opened my feed, I saw that Chris had posted tons of photos, with her. He even took her to that mountain lodge. This world was such a mess. I didn't want to hear any more excuses. I was done. I blocked Chris without a word. I threw myself back into work. As luck would have it, a new collaboration came up, and I had to travel for it. But we ended up with a difficult client who insisted on taking me out to dinner. And trying to get me drunk. The execs I was traveling with were only too eager to accept the hospitality. I could barely hold my liquor. And I wasn't even from the business department, just a project manager who helped explain technical stuff. But I got dragged around anyway. Eventually I couldn't take it anymore, so I escaped, same move as last time, hiding in the restroom. Only this time, I wasn't so lucky. As I passed a fat man in a gaudy floral shirt and tie, he stopped me. Hey pretty girl, you've had quite a few drinks. Wanna come sit with Big Bro for a bit? I shoved his hand away, slurring, get lost. He grabbed at me. You're hot. You got a boyfriend? None of your damn business. I tried to walk away, but he blocked my path, leaning in. Oh? So no boyfriend? Even better. Then let Big Bro take care of you. My head throbbed. I was too weak to push him off. And then, suddenly, I heard fast, chaotic footsteps coming down the corridor. Chris appeared in my blurry vision. Susan. He charged in and kicked the guy straight to the ground. The man wailed in pain. Then Chris pulled out his phone and called my boss. John, have you lost your damn mind? Sending my girlfriend out to entertain clients? You think I won't come for you? Girlfriend? Who? Susan? I didn't know. I swear Chris hung up before he could finish. I wasn't even sure who he was calling. But he looked so familiar. I slurred, hey, you look like my boyfriend. Oh wait, he's not my boyfriend anymore. He has someone else now. He men, they're all the same. Chris stood there, hands on hips, panting. Half crying, half laughing. When did I ever have someone else? If I had anyone, it was you. And then, darkness. I fell into the warmth of his arms. When I woke up, I was in the hospital. Chris was dozing off, his head resting on the edge of my bed. The moment I stirred, he sat up. The doctor said you had a fever. He looked completely flustered. I turned my face away, I didn't want to look at him. Ivana soon arrived as well. The moment she saw Chris there, she couldn't hold it in anymore. Oh, so you do know how to show up? Chris, let me tell you something, just because you're rich doesn't mean you can toy with someone's feelings. If you don't like Susan, just end it early. Don't string her along like this while refusing to take responsibility. Chris was caught in a storm of Ivana's rage. What did I even do? Ivana, seriously? How dare you even ask, she snapped. We saw you shopping for jewelry with that girl. Susan got caught in the rain on the way back, she's had a cold this whole time. Chris finally realized what had happened. He moved to my side, crouching by the bed, wearing a serious expression I'd never seen before. I have 3 rules, he said firmly. 1, no drinking when I'm not around. 2, stop blocking me. 3, if something's wrong, say it, don't bottle it up. Then he opened his phone and showed me all the chat history with that girl, message by message. I saw her calling him GE, brother, over and over. I sneered, and yet you took your sister shopping for a gift for your mom? She even called your mom a mother-in-law. Are you still trying to fool me with the sister lie? Chris looked confused. My sister bought a gift for my mom? That never happened. I heard it. She called her papa. He paused, thinking. Then explained, papa if said in Cantonese, means maternal grandmother. But if you say it in Mandarin, it means mother-in-law. She said her grandma's birthday was coming up and she wanted to buy her a gift. He looked at me with hopeful eyes. Maternal grandmother. I glanced at Ivana, she was a local. She should know. Ivana scratched her head, clearly awkward. I didn't catch the details. I was too busy calling you to bust him. God. How embarrassing. Dummy, Chris said softly, chuckling. Later, I found out his little sister had just come back from school in Hong Kong. He'd gone to pick her up, and things at home had gotten busy, so he hadn't had time to see me those few days. The moment he heard I was on a business trip, he checked in with my boss and rushed over immediately. Who knew it would turn into such a mess? Thank God he showed up in time, otherwise, I don't even want to imagine what could have happened. As for the luxury store, he took me to the same one his sister had gone to, and told me to pick something out too. I picked a dainty one. He shook his head and asked the clerk for a limited edition instead. This one suits you. Looks better. That's when I realized the kind of man he was, practical, no fluff. Never try to play guessing games with him. Cantonese tycoons hate that stuff. If you want something, ask. If something's wrong, say it. If he did something that upset you, tell him. He hated misunderstandings, especially in love. As for all the rumors about us at work, they completely disappeared. Why? Because Chris didn't hide anything. He came to pick me up at the office every single day. Even my boss gave me a thumbs up. There was nothing left to gossip about. One day, he brought me to a temple to pray. I'd heard that local bosses liked going to temples and cared a lot about feng shui and fortune-telling. I wasn't really into that stuff, but hey, I was there for the company. While he whispered to the monk, I secretly snapped a few photos from the side. He was in one of them too. I sent it to Ivana. The moment she saw it, she called me in a panic. He brought you to pray? Girl, it's over for you. Huh? What do you mean? Ivana dramatically lowered her voice, as if sharing some top-secret Cantonese gossip. You've reached the ultimate test from a Cantonese tycoon. First, check if your birth dates are compatible. If they are, you make it to the next stage, meeting the parents. If they're not, goodbye and good luck. He'll disappear like smoke. I started to panic. No way, was it that serious? In the car, Chris asked, what's wrong? Something on your mind? I hesitated for a long time, then finally confessed what Ivana had told me. How could I possibly just now be checking that, he said, laughing. I looked up our compatibility long ago, before I even started chasing you. His voice was low and teasing, full of amusement. Wait, when? Chris smirked. You didn't notice? Our zodiac signs match. Our birth charts are mostly compatible too. Oh. Suddenly, I understood. That first dinner, when he asked who was older, me or Ivana, that was when he started plotting. The tight knot in my chest finally relaxed. Later, he brought me to meet his cousin, Maura. As soon as we arrived, he pointed at me and said to her, she thought you were trying to steal me. Maura burst out laughing. You serious? I've seen him in his underwear since we were kids. No interest whatsoever. A second later, she paused, realizing how that sounded. Then, switching to Mandarin, she added, you've got the right zodiac match. His mom will adore you. Afterward, I did some quick Googling. Sure enough, Guangdong, Hong Kong, and Taiwan all ranked top 5 in worst mother-in-law reputation lists. Terrifying. Top 5 things a Cantonese mother-in-law expects from her daughter-in-law. 1. Must be a local. 2. Must truly love her son. 3. Must be good at cooking. 4. Must have an open-minded family. 5. Must be kind and filial. Well, I already failed the first one. I looked so defeated. Chris burst out laughing. Every place has good and bad mother-in-laws. Why worry about others' moms? In Cantonese culture, if your birth charts match, it's basically your golden ticket. When we visited his home, his dad came out all the way to meet us. And even set off firecrackers in front of the villa. It was a spectacle. I'd never seen anything like it. His mother greeted me with a warm smile the moment she saw me, pulling me straight to the seat, offering soup, pouring tea, treating me like family. It's delicious. My mom simmered it for 6 hours just because she knew you were coming. So this was the kind of environment he grew up in? No wonder he was so calm, so steady, and so effortlessly relaxed. Later I realized, times had changed. These days, mothers-in-law here were open-minded. In fact, in some cultured families, there was even a kind of quiet competition. Who treated their daughters-in-law better? I got along especially well with his little sister. She was doing her master's in Hong Kong and shared similar values with me. We had the same tastes, the same complaints. She often clung to my arm and called me sister-in-law, and once, when we went shopping together, even my bestie Ivana got jealous. His sister said her semester was about to start and she wanted one last trip, to the Maldives. So I brought Ivana along with me. Ivana's jealousy vanished instantly. One person rises, the chickens and dogs all ascend with her, huh? She packed her bags like a shot. I'm only going because I'm afraid they'll bully you. The scenery in the Maldives was like a majestic painting. Each island had its own hotel, and the experience was unforgettable. At night, the breeze was gentle and cool. Chris insisted on dragging me down for a swim. His sister warned me, be careful. He's not a good swimmer. It's fine. I've got him. Clumsy and eager to play, rarely did I see him struggle at something. I held his hand as we entered the water. In the water, he kept brushing up against me, whispering in my ear. Wanna do it in the water? It feels so good. You can't even stand properly. Can you stop messing around? He grinned at me, unable to hold back his smile. Suddenly, a wave crashed over us. And he was gone. Vanished. Chris. I panicked, calling his name as I searched for him. Diving under the water, over and over. Nothing. God. I was completely out of my mind. Tears streaming, I rushed ashore, crying for help. Maura and Ivana were nowhere to be seen. I tried to explain everything to a nearby security guard in broken English. He didn't understand much either. In the end, I just took out my phone and prepared to call the police. Then, a blinding light, like a shooting star, blazed through the night sky, shooting toward a metal scaffold not far from me. Bang! The structure exploded into brilliant sparks. A giant heart-shaped firework lit up the darkness, and a cascade of rainbow-colored rockets shot skyward behind it. I was stunned. Tears still clouding my eyes, I saw Chris walking toward me through the dazzling lights. He knelt down on one knee and held up a sparkling diamond ring. Will you marry me? My bestie, his sister, and a few of his close friends suddenly burst out from hiding, cheering and chanting in unison, say yes. Say yes. Say yes. Me? I was completely defeated, half crying, half laughing. Soaked to the bone, tears mixed with seawater, I was a total mess. And I was still reeling from the fear of him drowning. To make it worse, that damned camera was aimed right at my face, recording everything. So many emotions, grief, anger, relief, disbelief, flooded me at once. But Chris was so gentle, so sincere, completely unfazed by how terrible I looked. I burst into tears again, sobbing uncontrollably. I do. I stretched out a trembling hand. It was immediately wrapped in a warm, steady palm. He carefully slid the ring onto my finger, then scooped me up and ran across the beach, laughing and shouting. Like a 3-year-old boy who'd just been given the world's biggest, sweetest lollipop. He handed me the keys to his house, to his car, placed them neatly in a box, and gave it all to me without hesitation. But remember, we agreed on only $30,000 for the dowry, okay? He laughed. Years later, when we rewatched the video, he said, "How were you that ugly? I didn't even notice it at the time." And just like that, I was pulled back into that messy, beautiful night. Only because I felt sorry for how long you were kneeling in the sand, I shot back. Otherwise, I never would have said yes. He got excited. You're insane. I proposed and you dared consider saying no? Tonight, I'm going to show you the Cowie family's household rules. With that, he picked me up in his arms again, bridal style. Threw me onto the soft, giant bed. And with every breath, every motion, every heartbeat, he pushed love deeper, and deeper, and deeper still.